when the little evil leaves the casino and the crowd disperses. Feng Gu had gathered everyone, and she said, "Dealers, do you know where he came from?" "I don't know, I'm afraid it's not a friend." Feng Gu said, "I don't know, I only know that his name is Xiaoxie, and he is from Lejun Temple. Or he said it himself, but I don't think he has to lie to us, and his gambling skills are first class. He can listen to the sound to distinguish the real and fake dice. There are many people, but he can know the points of the fake dice by listening to the sound. I think he is the only one in the world, not even the Luoyang helmsman. Do you think I dare to play with him?" After a pause, she said, "He doesn't know how his martial arts are. It seems to be mediocre, and it seems to be unfathomable, saying that he is very powerful, and there are so many flying knives hanging on his chest, which is ridiculous and suspicious like a clown. We still have to be careful, send a few people to touch the way of others at night, remember not to show traces, let him run away." The dealer said, "Yes, I'll do it immediately." He retreated, walked out of the gambling house, and ran south. Feng Gu looked at everyone and said, "It's okay, let's go here today, you guys go down." In response, the crowd dispersed with the seal and departed. Feng Gu also walked into the backyard alone. Although the city of Lanzhou is large, it is still quiet and peaceful when the night comes. 3 watches for a week. 10 dark shadows have appeared in front of the Gaosheng Inn. If you look closely, you can see that they are dressed in night suits, covering their faces, each with a 3-foot-long knife on their backs, and their eyes are shining with cold light, and they know that they are first-class masters in martial arts at first sight. They were all agile, and with a slight turn, 10 black-scarfed masked men had swept up to the roof, like cats, without even making a sound. One seemed to lead, and with a wave of his left hand to the left side of the chamber, 5 people immediately swept over the left side of the chamber. He took the other 4 lightly swept to the right knife and poked all the way down. Needless to say, they were here for Yang Xiaoxie. Soon they had reached the backyard and surrounded the little evil room in all directions. A man in black stepped forward to break the window paper to peek inside, and when he was about to break the window paper, he found a crooked note pasted on the window, which read, "Guests come in, watch out for throwing knives." He was startled and wanted to retreat, but it was too late, only to see a cold light flash in the room, and 5 throwing knives flew straight out of the window. The man in black snapped his hands and knocked out 4 flying knives, but the 5th one was sent first, and it was already inserted into the left shoulder of the man in black, and he turned over and swept back to the place in pain and ran towards the man in black at the head. The man in black at the head saw that there was an ambush and immediately shouted, "Everyone spread out," and aimed at every window. He himself sneaked to the door. "Rush!" he shouted, and 10 men drew their long knives and rushed into the room. Yang Xiaoxie had already calculated that these people would definitely come to sneak attack. He knew that the enemy was going to rush in, so he immediately lit the candle, and the eyes of the man in black outside were affected by the light, and his body was stunned and slowed down. Xiaoxie saw the opportunity and could not miss it. His hands were raised, and more than 10 flying knives went straight to the eyes of 10 people. This was a false move. He wanted to get out of it, but he saw that his flying knives were thrown out of his body and rushed to the door. As soon as the black-clothed man saw that the flying knife was approaching, he didn't care about blocking the little evil, and hurriedly flashed back to avoid the flying knife, and the little evil had already taken advantage of this gap to sweep out the door and shouted, "You want to catch me? It's still very early." I heard a chase, and immediately 5 figures flew towards the left wall. Soon the candle light in the room was lit again, and the man in black saw a note on the table, which read, "You can't rest in the middle of the night, it's too hard, drink tea and leave." The man in black tore the note and shouted, "Fuck, this kid already knew we were coming. These notes can cost Xiaoxie 3 taels of silver to ask the shopkeeper to write." Xiaoxie brought back and painted a gourd to describe it, but the writing was very ugly. The man in black thought that Xiaoxie deliberately wrote so ugly to tease them. In fact, Xiaoxie has done his best. Yang Xiaoxie sighed on the tree, but it was a pity that he couldn't see the masked man's expression. It must have been black and white, angry and angry. The more he thought about it, the more funny it became, and he couldn't help laughing. Wow! When he didn't intend to laugh, he immediately felt bad, and immediately covered his mouth with his hand. "Oh no, when is this still in the mood to laugh? Hurry up!" He flew and jumped out of the high wall, and he already felt someone chasing after him. "Wow, wow, wow, I don't have to sleep at night, okay." He is neither fast nor slow, and always keeps a distance of 3 feet from the pursuers behind him. At this time, the other 5 black-clothed people also rushed to hear the wind, and they just chased Yang Xiaoxie to the city gate, and now they turned around and happened to block Xiaoxie's way, and they attacked from both sides. Xiaoxie looked at it and exclaimed, "Wow, it's really his grandmother's birth at the wrong time. There are chasing soldiers in front of her, don't you? There are pursuers in the back, and there are." In front there was a. Before, seeing that these 10 men in black are about to squash him, he still has time to think about this problem. Forget it, there are pursuers in front and behind, don't you get that? From the left. He lived on the left side and saw that there was a way out of a large family, and he smiled and said, "Let an officer and soldier catch the robbers, and tell all the dogs in the city to come out to exercise, so that I can know that the dog of that family is a good breed, and this trip should also be repaired." Drink! Xiaoxie roared and smashed the red door of the big family, wanting to smash the door panel in one fell swoop, but he knew that this door was made of cold iron, only to hear a loud sound of dang, like a hong zhong, which shook Xiaoxie's right hand numb. "Wow wow chie! This is a dead end." Before the words were finished, the 10 sharp knives behind him had received his back, and when Xiaoxie saw that the situation was in a hurry, he shot 10 flying knives straight to the throat of the man in black, and rolled the cloud to the left, and then swept into the courtyard of the big family. Seeing that the enemy was about to die, the 10 men in black knew that the sudden flying knife had arrived, so they had no choice but to draw their knives to stop the flying knife, and let the little evil have a chance. "Enter!" commanded, and 10 black shadows swept into the courtyard. "Catch the thief!" The little evil shouted a few times, and smashed several flower pots with a flying knife. "Catch the thief! Come on!" The sound is like thunder, which can pierce through the gold and chisel stones, piercing the night sky for dozens of miles, and shouting Xiaoxie swept out of the courtyard and crashed around. The 10 black-clothed men had just chased in from outside the wall, and when they saw that Yang Xiaoxie had swept out of the wall, they immediately turned over and chased after him. Xiaoxie looked at the pursuers and shouted bitterly, Damn, honey, it's not okay to be glued and not ask for help. He wants to do it all the time, and he has it all over the house. Catch a thief, thief, pearl thief. Everything. Everyone, come quickly. Immediately tonight, come, catch the thief. Xiaoxie shouted all the way, and when he saw the door, he stepped forward and kicked it a few times, and went in with a few throwing knives, and when he saw a large family, he jumped in and threw a few flower pots, which was not enough, he actually ran to the gate of the prefect to throw a few stones at the guards. I want to let Lanzhou City be lit up until dawn all night, and everyone is busy when everyone has something to do. Was made by him like this, and the entire Lanzhou City immediately boiled, and the big dogs and small dogs barked wildly. The lights and candles of every house are lit, thinking that there is really a thief. As long as there is a strong man in every household, they will take up sticks, knives, hoes, and brooms. Ran out of the door and shouted, "The thief is there!" The whole street was crowded, and the New Year's festival was more lively than worship, and the noise were endless. Lanzhou Mansion picked up a few stones, not to be outdone, and sent the whole city to chase down the thieves, and the streets could be chaotic. Xiaoxie looked back and found that the man in black was gone, and laughed, "Now those black-faced big brothers are feeling good, give me this set, hum. The grapes are still ripe very early." Bing ha! He was very satisfied with the use of the city's troops this time. "Well, I do have one." Smiling, he found a high wall and sat on it, to see what the crowd was up to, and to see the black dogs. 2. The 3. He counted them very happily, as if these things had not happened to him.